Hello, my name is Anne, your guide to when animals get even. If you like bloodthirsty animals getting back at humanity, then it would be an unbearably good idea for you to subscribe now. Now, today's animal has some thoughts about being viewed as a children's stuffed toy. It's bears, specifically black bears. We'll start in Canada. I'm gonna do my best here, but bear with me. So, Saskatchewan? Saskatchewan. That province in Canada, you heard it. Very pretty place, and also extremely wild still. As you all know, I like to keep it to the last names. I know that, like, if you really wanted to, and even if you go follow the links to the articles and stuff, you'll know their first name. But to me, it's just more respectful to just stick to last names. Okay, so we have a dad, Esquirrel. He's on the phone with his daughter, Blaze. They're talking because there is a broken water pump at the family cabin that she's at with her husband and her two kids, a 9-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. Now, she does the classic move of daughters everywhere and calls her dad, because she's like, how do I fix this? Originally, her son was helping her with the project, but the connection on the satellite phone was so bad that she sent him inside to get the antenna for it, to try and fix the connection. So, she sends him in. I'm not sure how much time passes. It sounded like it wasn't very much time at all, because then her dad hears this strange kind of gurgling noise coming from the phone. And he says her name and she doesn't respond, and, you know, he just kind of figures like, okay, maybe the bad connection, right? So he hangs up and he calls back. Well, the phone rings for 4 minutes, and she doesn't pick up. Now he's actually like really freaking out, because in the brief moment he heard the gurgle, it crossed his mind that, like, okay, potentially animal attack, but it's so rare that he, brushed it out of his mind, because that's a silly thing to be worried about. 7 minutes after those 4 minutes where she didn't pick up, the husband, his son-in-law, calls him, and he tells him Blaze was attacked by a bear. He pepper sprayed the bear, but it wouldn't let go of her, so he had to... He tries to administer CPR, and her pulse is already gone. But the thing is, okay, so, like, I don't think most news media knows this, and I don't think most of us know this. Even those of us that are, like, CPR trained. Like, I'm CPR certified, but even I kind of didn't realize this reality of it, that CPR is not supposed to necessarily bring you back to life if you've lost your pulse. What happens is when you stop breathing, you have no pulse, your heart's not beating. Your blood starts to literally turn toxic to you because there's no oxygen. The action of CPR, the compressions, and it's to beat your heart so that your body can be revived. It pumps the blood manually, essentially. Problem is, they're in an extremely remote location. He does CPR, but it didn't work out. Now, the son did go inside, but he saw it. Yeah, I guess he had the antenna. He goes to go back out to his mom. He sees what's going on. Although it's his dad. Everything happens. So later, officials would investigate, and they found that it was an unprovoked predatory attack by an old male bear. And the reason old is relevant is because it could be that if he had been pushed out of his territory, he's older, he might have been in an unfamiliar place, just trying to find food. But it's strange. For the most part, you don't worry about that kind of thing. The family was bear trained, which meant that they took meticulous care of the area they were in, there was nothing there to attract a bear. It's also strange that the bear waited until the sun left, especially because we don't know how quickly it happened. So if it happened moments after he left, it means the bear really just waited for him to go. The bear was already watching them, already stalking them. And if it was just a coincidence and it happened like minutes after he left, like maybe he couldn't find the, antenna, so many details are left out. They said old bear, but they didn't say, like, is the bear starving? Are the bear's teeth in bad condition? Like, what other factors might have been at play? They just said, old male bear, unprovoked attack. The thing that really gets me about this story is being on the phone. Made me immediately, I was like, what would I do? What would I do if I was on the phone with like my mom or something and we're states away from each other and all of a sudden I hear something that sounds like she's being attacked? I can't, what can I do? Like, how do I help? I kind of want to know what you guys think. Like, what do you think your reaction, your response would be if something like that happened? If you were there for something like that? Let me know in the comments. I'll tell you, like, for me personally, I think that my thing would be, if I knew, like, there's nothing I can do, I think the biggest thing is to I would stay on the phone. It might be traumatizing and horrible to hear, but I think I don't want someone I love to feel alone when that happens. And I want to be able to say all the things that need to be said. If there's anything unsaid that needs to be said, if there's an I forgive you that hasn't been said that I need to give. I want them to know, like, how much they're loved, how help is coming, even if I don't know that it is, how they can survive, how I believe in them. All these things that, yeah, you still don't get your happy ending, but I think it's just so important to be there, Next, we have an attack in Arizona. A 66-year-old had retired just the year previously, and he was working on building his dream home. So out of nowhere, he gets attacked by a bear, and it starts dragging him away. So obviously he screams for help, and luckily for him, this is not like the middle of nowhere. He lives in a neighborhood. There are neighbors, and they hear this. And the problem is, when a crisis happens, sometimes people don't necessarily have, either they just don't have the means at all, or they don't think about it because they're like pumped full of adrenaline, and so they're just operating on like instinct and twitching muscles, So his neighbors, they tried. I mean, one of them started honking their car horn, trying to, because loud noise, scare a bear. Several of them are trying to like yell at the bear and look really big and scare it off, and it is not working. So a different neighbor actually ends up banging on the door of other neighbor, I know, who has a, and he gets out there, and, bear goes down. Unfortunately, to me, I hear all these things, and I think immediately, like, just habituation. If the car horn wasn't scaring it, habituation. If the massive group of people wasn't scaring it, habituation. The bear was dispatched by the other neighbor that got called in, and so an analysis was done, and this bear was not rabid. This bear was not old. It was 7 to 10 years old. This bear was in great nutritional condition, not malnourished, not starving. This bear had a healthy amount of fat on it and food in its belly. This is not normal bear behavior. Habituation. Unprovoked predatory attack. What I'm thinking is, hopefully this was inadvertent. Maybe it was just people not properly sealing their garbage. I don't know. But this bear was not worried about people at all. So either this bear had learned that he can get tasty grub from being around people and he hadn't been able to access it in a while? Maybe. Maybe he was a cub of a mama bear who participated in a defensive attack to protect her baby, and he saw it and he knew it could be done. There's no way to know at all what was going on in the bear's head, obviously. All we can do is speculate. So, yeah, that one happened. And now we're gonna fly back over to Canada. We're going to Alberta. So, again, another kind of weird one. So again, just a little like a, bear with me. This person was a 26-year-old helicopter engineer, but she was there to help plant trees. That's what she was employed to do. So honestly, I'm not sure if it was like she was part of the helicopter crew, but then also was helping to plant the trees, or if she was a helicopter engineer who was, for whatever reason, taking a job planting trees. I do not know. So the thing is, in Alberta, when logging operations happen, and they take out a bunch of trees, they have to send out tree planters to just reforest it, which is actually like really great and exactly what companies should do when they're doing logging, to help like replenish the natural resource. Trees are renewable resources, but you have to actually like take the steps to renew them. Yeah? Now, her family asked that she not be identified, so that does kind of put some dampening on the story. Like, we have a witness to it, but the details are really scarce. She was with a coworker, she wasn't alone, which is good. Buddy system, great. But she got attacked. The coworker was able to scare the bear away. We have no details as to how. We have no details as to how the attack happened, anything like that. The coworker scares the bear away. They get her in a helicopter. They get her to the hospital. But she was already dispatched. Fish and Wildlife is able to identify the bear that did it, and they dispatch it. And this happened in 2021. So the last time this happened in Alberta to a tree planter specifically was 1985. That was the last time it was the same fate. So I'm thinking, like, I get that, like, yeah, 1985, 2021, they're far apart, but it has now happened twice. So maybe we should be kind of like readjusting our company policy, huh? Because while I'm looking up this story, because this story's about fatalities, right? But guess what I found out? I found out that another tree planter in Alberta in 2023 also got attacked by a bear. She's all right. She lived. She's good. Well, I don't know the full condition that she's in, but she lived, which is more than the other two. But that happened then 2 years after the 2021 one? Yeah, it's definitely time to readjust your policies on how the tree planters go out there and get stuff done, because that's a lot of bear. Like, tree planters know going in, like, I might encounter wild animals. They're going into a rugged, boreal environment. There's, cougars and wolves and bears, oh my. But, it's not, I'm sure that they're told, like, it never happens. You never have to worry about being attacked. But you do. And there should be, like, I don't know how much they get paid, but whatever it is not enough. Because, like, no one wants to go out by bear. Do they? Our final animal attack is located in Durango, Colorado. Malavolta, she decides to go on a walk with her two dogs. Now, she is a lover of the great outdoors. It is said that her favorite place to be was the forest. Her boyfriend, Rangel, he gets home at 8:30 p.m. and the two dogs are outside. But Malavolta is not. She's not present at all. But the two dogs are there. So, not good. A search is conducted by Colorado Fish and Wildlife, and they do find her, and they find a mama bear and her 2 yearling cubs very close by. So the autopsy report revealed that there was extensive damage to the back of her neck, which means that's where she was grabbed. It being the mama bear, it raises some interesting theories. We don't know if the dogs were leashed or not. The way it gets described makes me think they were off leash. And mama bear isn't a phrase for no reason. So this being a defensive attack makes a lot of sense. The problem is the necropsy, which is just like the animal version of an autopsy. The necropsy reveals that mama bear and one of the baby bears have what's a good word for this? They got innards in their innards. You know what I mean. One of the baby bears doesn't, but the problem is that Fish and Wildlife could tell from the condition of things that this had happened. And as soon as consumption's involved, that's the black mark against the bears. That's it. Because now the bears know. This is the forbidden fruit for these bears in the Durango, Colorado Garden of Eden. These bears now have forbidden knowledge. They know that A, people, really easy to and B, that people are edible. We don't want bears to have that knowledge, because when bears have that knowledge, they use that knowledge. Bears are smart. So, as soon as you see that consumption has happened, that's it, lights out. Yeah, that's a rough one. The unique part of this case is that they came out and they ruled it as an accident. So, all of the other attacks were labeled unprovoked predatory attacks. This attack was labeled an accident, which, I get what they were going for, but it kind of makes me think about, when we convict someone in the human justice system of, manslaughter, and it's just sort of like a, oops, I killed someone. It's like they just did that for the bear, where the bear was just like, oops, I killed someone, my bad. So again, I understand that it was supposed to be accident versus homicide, but it's just an interesting phrase to choose for this attack. So I think today what we have learned is that if you live anywhere near bears, and I do not care where, just anywhere near bears, you should always have a defensive instrument powered by a spark and powder. And I say this because bear spray is great, and it's a great deterrent. And if you are very hyper aware of your surroundings, you realize something is happening, and you have the means and opportunity, awesome. You should probably be fine. But in a lot of these attacks, they were a surprise. And you heard that very first attack, he did bear spray it. It didn't let go. It was already in too deep. So if that situation occurs, you need a pew pew, keep yourself safe. What I'm saying is, if you're in bear country, you should have something like that with you. I'm not saying you'll have to use it. I'm just saying, better safe than sorry. It's the difference between me getting to do a fatality video on you and me being like, oh no, this attack happened, but this person's all right, yay! So, keep it in mind.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a...
If you liked this video and you want more bloodthirsty animal content, then subscribe right now! I am here Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Bye! Blaze was attacked by a bear. He pepper sprayed the bear, but it wouldn't let go of her. So he had to...